My name is Bryce Henson. I am the CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp, which is the world's fastest indoor bootcamp franchise program, and we're based here in North America. I guess our headquarters is in Los Angeles. We have hundreds of locations throughout North America, about 90% in the US, about 10% in Canada. And our company mission is to inspire fitness and change lives, and that's what we do for tens of thousands of global clients. And for our franchise partners, we offer unique opportunity of business ownership through our franchise. And our really mission to support our franchise partners is really to grow their income through impact. So really high level, that's who I am and what I do. Well, exposure first and foremost, to be able to story sell, if you will, and share the story of Fit Body Bootcamp, share the story of our clientele, share the stories of our franchise partner success, and really just to be able to continue to grow our brand. And through podcast guesting, it's been an incredible opportunity, and just really, really fortunate and excited to work with Interview Valet. So it's been a big win from that perspective. It's also allowed me to hone my interview skills, my story selling skills, which has been really beneficial, not only from a podcasting circuit, but ultimately I've been asked to be featured on television many times over now. And really the experience I've gained throughout this experience has not only helped me, in podcasting, but in a wide variety of areas, including speaking on stage. Well, I think just, generally, not necessarily specifically with Interview Valet, but probably my biggest concern is what's the ROI going to be? Because really at the end of the day, as business owners, we always have to measure that. So, what input that we're going to be putting in, both from a time, energy, monetary perspective, and what's the output going to be on the back end. So that was probably one of my biggest, inquiries or concerns going in. Aside from that, I've done my research. I've been, in, business ownership through social marketing and really prevalent, over the last few years. So it wasn't necessarily a foreign concept to me. So I didn't really have any concerns there. I also did my due diligence. There's actually a few other podcast guesting services, and I actually used one previously for about a year before Interview Valet. But I realized in my research and my diligence that Interview Valet offered a higher level of professionalism, higher level of execution, higher level of podcasting. So it was a kind of an easy switch for me after the first year, which, no disrespect to the previous podcast guessing service, but really Interview Valet was a cut above the rest. And that's the reason I decided to transition. No, I think for me, just looking at my schedule, sometimes being the CEO and the face of the brand, especially from a business ownership perspective, we have, being we're a franchise system, we have two faces, if you will. We have our client face, if you will. She's actually, her name's MK, and she also is on the interview podcasting circuit with Interview Valet. Her interviews are more focused at the health, wellness, and nutrition side of things, where my focus is talking about the brand-wide brand growth, really the business perspective, really talking to our franchise partners and future franchise partners. So I think for me, my schedule is definitely very demanding, being the chief executive officer of the brand. So I think, not necessarily a surprise, but, there's a lot of preparation and there's a lot of execution needed. So that's been, probably one of my biggest sources of, challenges, if you will, but that's not anything on the process. That's not anything about the marketing strategy or anything to do with Interview Valet. It's just really allowing or shining a light on my ability to execute, and also my ability and need to continue to delegate more so I can, free me up to really focus on sharing the story of our brand. Oh, it's great. I think I first was kind of tipped off to Interview Valet through Tom, your CEO, and I was introduced to him through, Entrepreneur on Fire, the podcast host there. And I took basically a podcasting course, because my initial vision, which actually started, this is in 2021, launched my own podcast called the Fitness CEO Podcast. So that was really the main focus for my podcasting endeavors, at least initially, was to get my own podcasting service off the ground. But then through Entrepreneur on Fire and that online, podcasting course, I was introduced through Tom, and then, doing the diligence and doing, the research. It became a no-brainer, especially, good on you, good on Interview Valet, good on Tom for putting a lot of great marketing content out there to really be able to provide me a lot of education around the space. I believe he wrote a book as well that I listened to on Audible. So after going through that content, John Lee Dumas was actually the gentleman's name that provided the direct introduction. So after, researching, reading the book, getting educated, and of course that introduction through John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneurs on Fire, it really satisfied any concerns that I had. And really, I was ready to take the next step. And that's how I got to connect with you guys. Yeah, well, forgive me. I didn't come prepared with all the data. I have an awesome marketing team who looks at data and whatnot. So I'm really not going to talk from that level, but I just think the biggest, I guess, value has been able to do a great job of providing more exposure to Fit Body Bootcamp, to our organization, to our brand. It's also been able to position me as the expert, as the authority, and help continue to do that in that space, in our franchising space, in the fitness space. It's allowed me to develop my communication skills, my presenting skills, my interviewing skills, my podcasting skills, which are all so valuable in terms of spreading the message from my particular seat on this bus within my organization. So there's just been a lot of value from that. And I plan on continuing, because it's been, I want to say, 18 months up until this point, and I have no plans to slow down. There's one other actually result that I want to share, Tiffany. Forgive me, I lost track of that. But one of the other things, aside from delivering great content, it's been great allowing me a platform where I actually can have my media team record the interviews that I'm doing. So I'm able to take that kind of dual purpose, the content, if you will, not only for the actual interview that gets pushed out on the podcasting wire, but my media team documents me actually on the interview of Interview Valet, and I'm able to create a lot of personal branding, social media content on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook, which really allows me to help continue to promote the brand and position me as the expert. So that's one other big value that I didn't share. Aside from that, to answer your question just about someone interested in exploring the space, I would say do your diligence. At the end of the day, Interview Valet runs a tight ship. They're extremely professional. Jessica's amazing. She probably needs to follow up with me more times than she should, just because of my busy schedule. So candidly, I'm probably a little pain in her butt at some times, but I love the follow-up. I need that follow-up, and that high level of professionalism is really strong. I also feel that Interview Valet does a great job of providing feedback after the interview to allow me to be able to provide the good, the bad, the ugly. So that way we continue to hone our, I guess, partnership. So that way I'm really getting positioned in the best podcast possible. So I think that's another big value add, but really kind of, talking to that, potential business owner who's interested in the circuit. Interview Valet has nothing to hide. Do your diligence, read the content, get educated, look at some other services as well. Like I said, I first started with another competing agency, and it was good. They weren't great. And I decided to go with Interview Valet because you guys are great. So my big call to action would be, certainly it's been a very strong blessing and value add for my business and our organization, but don't be afraid to do your own homework, check around, shop around. And if your experience is like mine, you'll probably end up with Interview Valet just like I did.